Up next here, we got a fan favorite, Chase Hooper. He's going to be taking on Steve Garcia. And Chase Hooper, now at 23 years old, it looks like he's coming into his own. His last fight, he had a fantastic performance, the best of his career. He went in there, he fought a tough, rugged Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt and Judo black belt, and Hooper broke him and finished him in the third round. He was able to show that he's filling out his frame. He's starting to look better physically, getting stronger. And he's had 5 UFC fights at this point. He's 3-2 in those 5 fights. So he's proven that he's UFC caliber. And if he can win on Saturday, it's going to be his first 2-fight win streak in the UFC. He's going to be starting to, look more like a UFC fighter, and maybe he can start to go on a run. And for Steve Garcia, he is Chase Hooper's opponent here. He's potentially fighting for his job. He's 1-2 in 3 UFC fights so far. He's coming off a loss at UFC 275. His lone win in the UFC came against Charlie Ontiveros, who's low level. He has another decision loss to Luis Pena in his debut, and that was up at 155 pounds. All of his fights actually in the UFC so far have been at 155. He's going to be dropping back down to 145, where he did fight throughout his career. He actually even fought at 135 pounds. But the last time that Garcia tried to make 145, he missed weight against Chepo Mariscal. He got the win, but it is a little bit questionable to me whether he's going to make weight or not here. And we'll see how he does. But Steven Peterson, he's getting fed to Chase Hooper here as a fighter. The UFC wants to lose, quite obviously, if you ask me. If you look at Steve Garcia's record, he has multiple losses to tall, lanky grapplers already. He lost a decision to Ricky Tercios. He got tapped out by a long cruise with a rear naked choke. He got grinded out, gave his back at all 3 rounds to Luis Pena. And Chase Hooper is the best grappler that Garcia has ever fought in his career outside of Joe Warren, I would say. And Joe Warren, even though he's an elite grappler, he's more of a wrestling-heavy style. And, Chase Hooper is also a very long and lanky individual. And with Steve Garcia, I mean, he's definitely kill or be killed, very reckless. And he just comes forward and swings real wild to close the distance. And he will throw some spinning elbows. He has pretty good power in his hands. So early on, he's going to be switching stances, looking to come in with that double, triple jab and try to land the big right hand or big left hand and take out Hooper. Maybe land a big spinning back fist or some big elbows on the inside. But his defense is really bad himself. I don't think in this fight he's going to have to worry about getting dropped or getting outstruck by a guy like Chase Hooper. But Chase Hooper, one thing we do know about him is he's very durable. He's willing to take punishment to get inside and then create those kind of scrambles, or even end up on his back where he could pull guard and then create a sweep. And he has no problem just getting connected and making it a grappling match. Even though he doesn't have the best wrestling, he can kind of get a hold of you, use his long frame to get in an awkward position and then win those positions with his jiu-jitsu ability. And Chase Hooper, he sometimes could struggle to get it to the ground, but in this fight with Steve Garcia, we got a guy in Garcia that is okay wrestling, but all of that jumping, all of his spinning attacks, and just being real chaotic, closing distance, it allows guys to take him down. Off balance himself sometimes, then up on his back. And I think Chase Hooper is going to be able to get this fight to the ground. And when it gets there, I just don't know how Steve Garcia is going to not expose his back and let Chase Hooper get the back. I mean, I've seen Steve Garcia give his back to much lesser grapplers over and over. Seems like he has no ability to get out of the back mount. He doesn't know what he's doing when he gets there. He has decent submission defense from there, just because he stays totally safe and just tries to be 100% defensive. But, I feel like Chase Hooper definitely could even finish him if he can open him up with ground and pound like he was showing against his last opponent. And I don't feel like Steve Garcia, outside of a first round knockout, really has much of a chance to win. He's going to come out quick and he's going to come out hard. So if he does catch Hooper and take him out early, then that's his path to victory. But Chase Hooper, he's never been finished by strikes, and he's a very durable guy. He's a guy that can take a lot of punishment. And I don't see Steve Garcia just coming in here and running him over in quick succession. So I'm going to say Chase Hooper ends up getting a second round TKO with ground and pound or a rear naked choke submission. I think he'll use the first round to wear down Steve Garcia a little bit, get him down earlier in the second, and get the finish. So Chase Hooper for me is kind of getting set up to get this win here, and I think he's going to get the job done, get 2 wins in a row in UFC, and then after he gets this win over Steve Garcia, we can maybe start testing him against a little bit better competition.